because I think I can probably turn it around faster than this thing is going. And do reasonably well sucking up the sugar beets. I may do this as a triangle. Come on, you can do it. But even if this is, yeah, this is only 30,000 litres. I believe the T40 was about 45, 47, 45. I'm really not noticing that big of a problem with the 30,000 litre tank here. Okay, gonna waste a little bit of time to go and get these. So we're at 8:26. 29. Yeah, not a big deal. 3 litres per head. I mean, it's something, but really. That. Oh, there's still another 2. Maybe 3. Maybe all the way to the edge. Why not? Okay, that looks like we got them all. So still 20 litres. Or was it 30 litres? 26? I think it was 30 litres. Yeah, and after I'd got the header and the header trailer, kind of left a little bit short. So I was, yeah, it was kind of at the point where, you know what, I might as well get the big one anyway. And I didn't even have enough money for the small one by 20,000, so it is what it is. Okay, we can turn that off and see if I can get it through the gate. Actually, what we might do here, might go and fill this up. Now this will be a little bit of a long-winded switch over, because we're going to be starting the new field. It's going to take a little bit more manual work to get into it. But I don't think there's enough capacity in this trailer to make it worth my while running the Challenger up to the next field. What's the time? 12:30 game time, so we've got about another hour before. And actually, the worker hasn't finished hopping this field either. This is going to be a little bit of fun. Fortunately, shorter wheelbase on this. There we go. They may have had a little bit more issues getting the 440 in here. Okay, gonna get you started up again. And this is where the angle at the edge of the field starts being a problem for this thing. Just tidy up this edge. And maybe run across there. How about that? So Topper doesn't take down the weeds, but that I'm not surprised with that, because the weeds affect the yield. So if the Topper went through and chopped down all the weeds, we'd end up with 100% yield everywhere, which isn't exactly correct. One of the things I was thinking, because of the state of our fields, it would probably have been a good idea to herbicide our fields this coming year. Just because the coverage is now getting a little bit significant. Alright, let's you can see there where the tractor steers not quite following the header or the topper, that actually having the narrow tyres is a blindingly good idea. Okay, you're good. 269.6 is the angle. You can go on a worker. I don't know if this is going to fit through that gate. Ooh, that's tight. Okay, well, that's different. I think what we'll do is we'll do that, because otherwise we are going to destroy crop driving into the field there. I'll probably do 2 passes along this edge. Although there's a hedge there, we did see that the harvester wasn't too happy turning around when there was a hedge. So I'll do that. Yield's certainly looking good. I don't think it's looking significantly worse than it did last year. Ooh. Okay, and I'll head that back this way and then do the outer edge as we turn towards the gate. Ugh, don't. At least you're not in California. Yeah, I think it's about that amount here in Michigan as well. We're quite pleased that there's actually a Sam's in town here, because again, it's quite expensive, especially since one of my cars uses premium. So that's just rip-off prices at most gas stations. At Sam's, I think it's only 40 cents more expensive than regular, But everywhere else, you're talking 80 plus difference between a gallon of regular and a gallon of premium, which is, I don't know, that's crazy numbers. Okay, you need to stop. You need to put the brakes on. You need to hold it right there and actually turn the engine off. Okay, as I said, not really much point in me taking another 10 litres out of the, or 10,000 litres out of the tank, because we're still going to have to run back to the farm. So since all our tractors are here, I'll just run it down to the farm, run it back again, and we can do 50,000 litres off the back of that field, and follow and go. Oh, we might get lucky and the Valtra might finish its thing. So, this field had root crops in it, so it does need to be ploughed, which means I need one of my big tractors, which is currently carting. I could switch to the case for carting. I think that's still available. Go and get the plough on the Class Axion and have that ploughing that first field, 18. That might be an idea. Gets the fields turned over faster. So, I've been watching a couple of YouTube videos this week. One guy doing some tests on precision farming and how to get 100 score for a field. And the direct drills, so seeders that do not need to be cultivated before they plant, give you the best score for sort of seeding. So if we jump to seeders here. With a seeder planter you can sow a field. If we go that one, with a seeder planter you can, additionally this machine's offered the ability to seed directly, no previous cultivating or ploughing. So using one of these will get you the best score when you play precision farming in FS22. Now the interesting thing there is that if you plough a field and then direct seed it, you get the maximum score. Now technically if you plough it you get a really bad score, and if you cultivate it you get an okay score, and if you direct drill it then you get the best score. But if you seed with a direct drill, regardless of whether you cultivated it or ploughed it, it would appear that you get the best score because you direct seeded it, which is a little bit silly. The other thing is if you plough it, no weeds happen, so you can't get the weeding bonus on environmental score. That said, there is an open question: can I spot weed a field that never has weeds in it? Because if I can, that would then mean that, well, all I need to do is just run around with the spot weeder, killing all the non-existent weeds after ploughing, and I'll get the weeder bonus too. It may be, I don't want to be in that tractor. I don't want to be in that tractor. There we go. there may be ways to game the system, is what I'm trying to say there. So just do the things that get the score, and you'll get the highest score regardless of whether you did other things that are supposed to negatively affect the score. Oh, that was it. Yeah, the other thing he did point out, the YouTuber I watched did point out, is that soybeans are broken. If you harvest soybeans, something goes incredibly badly, and I think you end up with a 0 score on nitrogen, which kind of not a good thing. And since he has done farming in his life, he pointed out that actually one of the reasons why people do soybean and corn in rotation is because soybeans is one of the few crops to add nitrogen to the soil. It takes nitrogen out of the air and adds it to the soil. And corn is absolutely horrible. It leaches nitrogen out of the soil quite significantly. So if you plant corn and then the following year you plant soybeans, soybeans will draw the nitrogen out of the air and replenish the nitrogen in your soil. You're running. There we go. You found the leader. And now we need to start the engine and take this convoy back down to field 18. So for the most part here, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to set the Axion off, ploughing that field, and whatever the worker ends up doing, they end up doing. It's not a big problem. I suppose I should check the soil condition. I think again, the plans this year are going to be doing the thing. Lime. We're going to be putting lime on all of the fields. So yeah, I'm kind of thinking with precision farming in Farm Sim 22, what it may be worthwhile doing is trying to ensure you've got at least some opportunity to plant oilseed radish every so often. That way you can direct seed it. What am I trying to do here? I'm trying to unwrap this. There we go. Yeah, you can direct drill it, and then you can do your more precise thing. I think the big problem is things like sunflowers and corn, where there isn't a direct seeder. That can become, yeah, that's going to adversely affect your environmental score. So just be aware of that. Anyway, let's see if she'll do her thing now. Yeah. Yep, go. There we go. Okay, you're still doing your thing. Where's the Puma? Engines off. Let's go. And we should be followed by the Challenger. Yes, we are. So I was hearing something interesting this week regarding building supplies. And because the Fed has increased interest rates, I think it was by 0.5 point, and they're planning to do it 3 or 4 more times this year, that's adversely affecting mortgages, which for people who are already in their homes, you're already in your home paying a mortgage. If you've got variable rate mortgage, then that's going to be your problem. But if you're a new home buyer and you're buying a new home, then you're going to need to get a mortgage, and fewer people are doing that because bad interest rates. Well, that means that builders are not quite in so much demand for building new homes, which means there's less demand on building supplies, which means building supplies are cheaper. So, if you want to buy lumber, it's getting better and might get even more better because there's less demand for the stuff. Me, I've got most of the lumber I want. I just need a whole bunch of wood screws, countersunk wood screws in this at this point. So I may go to the hardware shop this afternoon and get some. Okay, you are full. I'll park this back in the driveway. Of course, this tractor may struggle a little bit more than the Axion did getting up to the farm, and of course you're not the Axion, so the quickest route to jump to this harvester is by actually going next vehicle rather than prior vehicle. So I got a couple of buttons on my joystick or on my steering wheel mapped to next vehicle, previous vehicle. So that works a little bit better. Okay, Helper J is probably going to be our class that's doing the ploughing. Anyway, gonna head along the back here. Again, I'll probably do 2 hedgerows along the back here. And then I think I'll probably set the harvester loose on this side of the field. So I think we got a fairly good straight edge along this back hedgerow that runs pretty much, what are we doing? We're about 212. I think, let's think. It runs 9270. We can probably figure that out by turning here, and that gets us close to 270. So yeah, this side of the field is a nice cardinal compass angle. And all I have to do is hope that these ends are shallow, sufficiently shallow, that it won't miss anything when it does a turnaround, as the Valtra is finished too. Okay, we are going to have to do a little bit more hand-holding for our workers that aren't harvesting, and there we have it. Okay. Gonna have to get you I think again right here I'm just going to be manually harvesting at least this second headland Then we'll head back up to the top and set the worker off. But the worker won't run long because obviously we don't have an empty cart, and I can't take the carting tractors back to the shed right now. How much sugar beets do we have in the barn? Sugar beets, 495, so it's half full of sugar beets from that first field. This field is smaller, so we're not going to blow up our capacity. Actually, we had about 50,000 litres loose from the previous harvest, which I didn't crate. I put 50,000 in crates just so we'd have a convenient way of feeding our sheep. And I actually thought 50,000 was not going to be sufficient enough for the coming year because our sheep were breeding by that point and going through sugar beets like candy. However, we did end up with pretty much exactly what we needed for this year. And so, what we have now is, I think we've got 3 or 4 crates spread across our sheep fields, and then probably 3 more crates in the barn. So 50 crates did us. I'd probably do about 55 just so there's a bit of safety. We're not going to run out. I did notice loading in the game today that animals can die from old age, lack of food, and overeating. Not sure how the overeating mechanism falls into place, because I don't think I've ever seen an animal overeat itself. Primarily because the troughs in FS19 resize to the number of animals you have in the field. Okay, I'm going to set you on a worker right now while I go and fix some people. Oh yeah. The bottom of this field, always a problem for workers. Once you get going though, I don't know what it is. Actually, I can see one problem we've already seen. So when we started off, I could not engage the worker until we'd gone past a certain point. You'll see here that the worker stopped and turned around almost immediately on that second row. But assuming he turns left at the top of the field, he should do most of the rest of the field without a problem. If he turns right, we're going to get 2 more rows out of him, and then he's going to quit again. Okay, you. Engine on. So I'm kind of messing around here until the harvester gets 100% full. And then I can turn it off and we'll take the tractors back to the main yard again. I think maybe what it might be worth doing here is running all the way to the tip of the field, and then just setting the worker off that way. So the field rows are getting progressively longer. may have less of an issue with that. So I'm going to do that. We'll reverse back, get them lined up